Hello, lovely people of Sublime. I am so excited to share chat with you. So, chat. So many of my interactions with AI these days feel boring, generic, sterile, like something's missing. And the hope with chat is that by feeding your sources, your references, you're able to convey some of your taste to LLMs, and the resulting conversation is just going to be a lot more effective because it's rooted in the sources you love and trust, and it's just going to have a lot more context. This is a little thing we made a couple months ago that felt relevant. So anyways, I want to show you how I've been using it. The possibilities are endless, but let me just dive in. So here's one thing that I'm doing that I highly recommend everyone do. I have a collection on Sublime with all of the snippets of what I consider to be my favorite writing from my favorite authors. So it's a quote from Albert Einstein, George Orwell, Joan Didion, Rebecca Solnit. And so oftentimes I'll write something and I want to rewrite it in the style of my favorite writers. Not because I'll end up using that thing, but it'll just like spark a new way of thinking about the style and the sentences. So what I can do in that case is I'll click chat. And what chat will do is it'll open this window where you can choose between ChatGPT, Claude, or just copy the collection metadata and use your LLM of choice. In this case, I'm going to go with Claude, and it'll open a Claude window, and you can just Command V and paste the entire context of the collection. And then in this case, I haven't actually tried this, but I'm going to actually paste something that I wrote and be like, rewrite the letter to a friend I wrote using the style and vibe of my favorite authors' quotes I shared in my writing prompts collection as an example. This is kind of wordy and blabbery, but we'll see what it does. Yeah, this already feels kind of nice. So that's one thing to do. And you can see that actually that thinking applies to a lot of things, a lot of examples where you have a collection of what great looks like. So for example, I have a collection of great ads. I could open ChatGPT and paste this thing and let's just let it think for a second first. But then I can have it create ideas for ads for Sublime or Podcast Magic using these examples of what a great ad looks like. And I just guarantee you that the kinds of things that you'll get are just much better and more interesting than generic prompt without context. So let's see. Based on these references of great ads, help me generate ideas for ad copy for Podcast Magic. Use what you know about Podcast Magic. That's the other nice thing about using ChatGPT instead of our own chat to start is that I've already had enough conversations with ChatGPT about Podcast Magic, so I can take advantage of that context as well. So let's see what it does. Oh, so this, see, this is amazing, I think. Yeah. So there's this ad that I fit that is in my collection for New Balance that I love. And so immediately using that reference, ChatGPT's recommended, loved by founders in San Francisco and bus drivers in Queens. Gives me a lot of ideas. So I just love this idea of going from curation to creation and using your sources and references and taste as that jumping off point. So, and again, I could do this with, great company mission statements and, great job descriptions, great about pages. If you're somebody that's constantly producing a certain type of content, if you're a brand strategist that's constantly writing about pages, curate a list of references of what great looks like. And then you'll see the quality of the conversation improves. And then the other thing I find myself doing is I'll use Sublime to sort of explore a nascent idea. For example, I have this collection on just nuance and the lost art of holding conflicting ideas at once. I could use chat to be like, well, first I'll just click paste, but then what I'll want to ask it is, help me unearth the big idea. But here it's telling me the ability to live with and even be nourished by contradiction is not weakness. It's intelligence, creativity, and maturity. Both are true, and that's where the deeper truths live. So it's just a nice way to synthesize what I believe that I haven't been able to distill into one sentence. The possibilities are endless, but the hope here is that you can make things that are better, more creative, more original. And I really, truly do think that in an age of AI, having a personal curated knowledge base that is easy to make available to LLMs as needed is just such a competitive edge. End of rant. Enjoy.